My phone lit up at 2 a.m. My mother, 3 words, sheltering now, safe. I sat with that for a long time, um, 7,000 kilometers away and completely unable to help. And I spent the last 4 years here studying aerospace engineering at MIT. And in between assignments and lectures, or even during exams, I would look at that alert on my phone, and I would know that somewhere over Ukraine, there was a drone. Probably more than one. And in general, slow, noisy, cheap, but almost impossible to stop. That gap between what humans can do and what modern warfare now demands is what I wish to talk to you about today. Because that gap is driving the entire field of military AI. And a lot of that discussion is kind of missing the point. It's not a discussion about whether AI belongs in defense, it certainly does. It's a problem about learning to apply it effectively. I'd like you to picture a single Shahed drone. Russia now manufactures these by the hundreds every day, with ambitions to reach 1,000 a day. And though there are upgrades, in general, these drones are relatively noisy, slow, and a well-trained air defense crew can intercept it without that much difficulty. But warfare fundamentally changes when 300 are launched simultaneously. Now that same air defense team isn't tracking one target, they're tracking dozens, hundreds even, while coordinating interceptors, while managing electronic warfare systems, while operating under 9, 10, or 11 hours of fatigue. And the drones just keep coming. Eventually, they begin slipping through. Not because the technology failed, but because the human capability ran out first. Hundreds of drones can be produced in a day, highly trained operators cannot. And increasingly, those drones are guided by AI. So the asymmetry isn't just numbers, it's about using machine intelligence to scale faster and work more efficiently than the other side can respond. On the battlefield, this is the real driver of autonomy in AI. It's not just a race to build capability. The objective is simpler. It's to make one operator capable of what 10 could not do alone. So growing tired of these notifications on my phone, I packed my bag and I went home to Ukraine. We started working on these issues, and we worked directly with operators. We would visit their frontline positions, learn their current workflows, and then help them prototype solutions in just days or weeks. So I arrived prepared. Before I left, I'd done all my research, I read all the papers, I even joined labs where I could learn more about the cutting edge research in this area. And a lot of the consensus at that time was pretty clear. The critical problem was communication jamming. Once that drone lost its communication with the operator, it could not continue without some onboard autonomy. So this was the gap everybody was talking about. So I arrived, armed with all of my new knowledge and all of the solutions that I wished to propose. I started speaking to the operators, and they shrugged. They'd already solved that problem. They'd moved on. While jamming remains a problem, this unit had found a way to adapt. So the bottleneck had moved. Now it was somewhere else entirely, in the handoff, in coordination with other units, in the cognitive load of a single pilot managing multiple aircraft while under fire. The constraint shifts always. And the only people who know where it is currently are the ones standing at the front. So the people defining the requirements were solving a different problem than the people actually fighting the war. And I had been one of those people, sitting in Cambridge, designing solutions for a war that I hadn't seen yet, and solving problems that no longer really existed. So that realization changed how I did everything afterwards. Let me give you a concrete example. We work with a specific operator. Let's call him Metro, just to protect his real identity. The Metro operates reconnaissance drones. He might spend 40 minutes flying a drone, or maybe hours. 40 minutes or hours of managing electronic warfare interference, coordinating with other units, and waiting for the right conditions. Hours of sustained concentration while under pressure. Suddenly, the drone might descend behind some terrain or behind a building, and then the screen goes a little fuzzy, and then static. The communication with the operator is severed. We saw this all the time. Without onboard autonomy, the mission fails immediately, completely. Hours of reconnaissance wasted, the drone gone, and somewhere a name we might have never learned. The solution is to leverage AI to keep the drone flying without an operator, even after the connection goes blank. This gives one real battlefield problem a specific solution, and its success can be measured directly. Did the aircraft complete the mission? How often? Under what electronic warfare conditions? More importantly, the failures can be isolated, analyzed, and improved, all because the autonomy was bound to a specific constraint within the existing workflow. This is the pattern of every system that's deployed reliably today. It's well-defined, it's measurable, and it's trusted. So the first version of our solution worked, kind of. The controls were a little off, so the operator struggled to fly it. Next day, we fixed it. Then there was a problem with the display. Next day, fixed. From the front line to the lab, we iterated every day until we had something that the operator was happy with. The solutions that really worked were not broad and revolutionary, and they didn't try to replace the operator right now. They worked because they were easily iterable and easily scalable. They were measurable in their outcomes. And since they were developed with the operator, they were trusted too, because the operator knew exactly what it was doing and how to use it. So the best autonomous systems in war are not novel, they're useful. This matters beyond the battlefield too. If you're in this room today as a researcher or engineer or an investor, the decisions you make over the next few years about where to build AI capability in defense will matter enormously, not just commercially, strategically. The temptation is always to build for capability. Rightly so, AI capability genuinely exceeds what any operator could dream to achieve. It can track faster, decide faster, and coordinate across more variables than any operator ever could. That's the point. But capability without precision is just noise. The question isn't how much you can automate, it's where. So I went to Ukraine because the gap between what I was building and what was actually needed felt unconscionable. When I got there, I found that operators were constantly fielding AI platforms, but not all of them actually solved the problems they were dealing with. The ones that did shared something in common. They were aimed at an existing bottleneck. A drone that completes its mission after the connection goes blank, a navigation system that still functions after GPS is jammed, or even a coordination tool that reduces the cognitive load on an operator who's been coordinating multiple aircraft while under fire. None of these are glamorous, and none of these make headlines, but each one works because AI, applied at the right bottleneck, can do what no amount of training or experience can compensate for. These solutions were built with these principles in mind. First, the requirements came from the operators, not from engineers and not from conferences. They came directly from the people who depended on solution to survive. Second, they were built in direct collaboration with the operators, visiting their positions, testing prototypes, going back and fixing what didn't work for them. And third, success was measured by clear metrics. Did it solve a specific problem that it was designed for? And did it improve the metrics that the operator is assessed by? Those three things are not a methodology, they're a discipline. And they're available to anyone in this room willing to start asking the right people the right questions. I came to MIT to learn how to build advanced systems, but Ukraine taught me that the ones that matter most are the ones built around the human being standing behind them. Because behind every bottleneck we fail to solve, there is a name.